My name is Conspiracy, and welcome back to the show, Science vs. Conspiracy over coffee. Today on the show, we'll be covering a big announcement made this week regarding a breakthrough in nuclear fusion, and an update on the JFK files we talked about last week. But first, a murder mystery of sorts. We'll be right back. Over this past weekend in Burnaby, a suburb of Vancouver, Canada, at least 36 crows were found dead in Central Valley Greenway, an area that spans 24 kilometers and is used by pedestrians and cyclists in Metro Vancouver. 3 weeks ago in Chilliwack, which is about an hour and a half east of Vancouver, a number of birds were also found dead in a local park. The official cause of death was avian flu. The same cause of death has been linked to an unsettling number of bird deaths in the San Francisco Bay Area recently. In Metro Vancouver in 2018, birds were reported falling to the ground beak first, meaning that they must have been dead before they hit the ground. The cause of the crow death is still unknown. However, witnesses report seeing other crows sitting in silence in the trees above. This is unusual because crows are really social creatures, and they're often making a lot of noise. When crows see dead crows, they tend to be very concerned, and tend to make a whole lot of noise. One area resident reported to local media, "The most likely explanation for the crow deaths is avian flu." However, this doesn't account for the crow's odd behavior. In Chinese astrology, there is deep meaning behind when someone dreams about seeing a dead crow. It symbolizes the bad days are over and change is coming. Could this be a sign of things to come? Which brings me to another explanation, one that is a little more controversial. Is the magnetic pole shifting? Could this be the cause? Birds and other animals use the magnetic field for navigation. If something was to happen to the magnetic field, this would have a negative effect on the birds and other animals. Animals around the world have been recorded acting strange for quite some time. The most recent occurrences have been groups of sheep walking in circles for days. Einstein described the origins of Earth's magnetic field as one of the most intriguing mysteries of the planet. North will become south, south will become north. But is a pole shift happening? Not according to Andreas Nielsen, a geologist at Lund University and co-author of a new study on the Earth's magnetic field. In the peer-reviewed journal article, Nielsen reveals that the Earth's magnetic field is in a constant state of change. There's a section over South America where the magnetic field is weaker than any other part of the Earth. However, based on 9,000 years of geological research, this weakened area will increase in strength over the next 300 years. Nielsen also goes on to say that based on his research, the Earth's magnetic field will flip, but not for some time, and not in the immediate future. If it isn't the Earth's magnetic field, what is causing the bird deaths and odd behavior by sheep and other animals? At the moment, it remains a mystery. Up next, a nuclear fusion breakthrough, and later, an update on the JFK files. We'll be right back. For decades, scientists have been working on a renewable energy source. And regardless of what your opinion on climate change is, I think we can all agree that finding a cheaper source of energy will be better for all of us. Claims have been made about zero-point energy, such as the mysterious EM drive or impossible propulsion system that NASA has. And apparently it defies physics by creating thrust simply by bouncing microwaves around inside a closed cone-shaped cavity. No fuel required. So the jury is still out on that one. Some say that the experiments are faulty, while others are embracing the discovery, are opening up new forms of physics. Then there's nuclear fusion. But what is it? Put, it's the process by which two light atomic nuclei combine to form a heavier one while releasing massive amounts of energy. The struggle so far has been that nuclear fusion reactors have always required more energy to run than gets created, which is not ideal. Nuclear fusion is what powers stars and including our own sun. To replicate this process, it's been an almost impossible task, until now. For the first time in the process, scientists at Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory in California are calling a game changer. Scientists have devised a process that doesn't use more power than it creates. It's estimated that we're still decades away from nuclear fusion being a viable power source, but this new discovery is a step closer in the right direction. However, for those of you who believe that the government is concealing the truth about an alternative energy source, the timing of this announcement may seem a little coincidental, given the current energy crisis that is plaguing countries around the world. What if we were to have a limitless power supply of renewable energy? What would this mean for the world's economy and the governments in power? Up next, the latest in the JFK files. Do you have a fascination for the unknown? Are you drawn to the unexplained phenomenon? Subscribe to Science vs. Conspiracy over coffee and discover what lies beyond the curtain. The link is in the show notes. In what I would consider a surprise move, the U.S. National Archives on Thursday released around 13,000 previously unreleased and classified documents pertaining to the JFK assassination. If you remember last week, we talked about Jefferson Morley, a former journalist and JFK researcher who believes he has found the smoking gun linking Lee Harvey Oswald to the CIA in the months leading up to the assassination. Contained in these 13,000 documents could hold the key to finally getting answers we've all been waiting for. However, there are still a number of yet-to-be-released documents that the government deems necessary to be held back for national security reasons. Even though there are documents that haven't been released yet, the White House stated in a press release, "It is therefore critical to ensure that the United States government maximizes transparency by disclosing all information in records concerning the assassination, except in the strongest possible reason." President Biden said in a memo that the National Archives and other agencies have until May 2023 to review the remaining private documents. After that, any information withheld from public disclosure that agencies do not recommend for continued postponement will be released before June 30th, 2023. In a series of statements released by the CIA, the agency said that many of the records released in the latest batch post-date Kennedy's assassination and do not change the historical record and has no bearing on the assassination or the investigation itself. We are not aware of any documents known to be directly related to Lee Harvey Oswald that have not been made part of the collection. Over the next little while, I'm going to go through these files, these 13,000 files, and see what's there. What do you guys think? Will there be a smoking gun? Or is this just another distraction for some other crisis, like what's going on in the Ukraine, or who knows, right? This could just be another distraction. I'm really skeptical about what the government has released or will be releasing pertaining to the JFK assassination. I guess only time will tell what will be released and what won't be, and how they are going to say it. Anyway, we'll keep you posted on this and see where it goes and see where it leads. Next week, we'll have a special guest in the studio talking about CERN and his take on what is going on down there. He has a unique perspective on CERN, to say the least. If you like today's show, head over to Patreon and help support what we're doing over here. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Also, we have a YouTube channel that we release new videos every Wednesday afternoon. And for the month of December, we're doing an advent calendar, coffee calendar. So go check out those videos and subscribe to the channel. And that's it for today. Remember, being paranoid is smart. We'll see you next time. Thanks, everybody. This week's episode of Science vs. Conspiracy Over Coffee was produced by Logica. Research and writing was done by Bob Homer and Jennifer Timer.